Hi there, and welcome to the Wisdom of Whitehawk, where the collective consciousness known to us as Whitehawk offers a bridge to find purpose and meaning in your life, to follow your path wherever it takes you, with loving guidance. Alan Herring channels Whitehawk, and Gail expands on the teachings. Enjoy this episode.
We are here, and it's been a beautiful day. It's always a beautiful day. Did you hear about the two astronauts who walked into a bar and one asked, "What is the warp speed of a bandicoot?"
No, I didn't.
And the other one said, "I think it's the speed of two wombats." And they just laughed, and they just cackled, and it was a big joke. Everybody's looking at them and thinking, what are they talking about? This is what we're talking about. It is a whole new language that we are introducing to the universe, to the world, through the cosmic corridors of correlation, the galactic library that we have available to us comes and goes, it pulsates. And it's a new language that we need to address when we're speaking. As you know yourself, when you come up with a new verbiage, new language, new turns of phrase, it leaves a lot of people behind. But also, on the other hand, you gather up those people that are energetically and vibrationally aligned with what you're talking about. And like the bandicoots and the wombats, seemingly there's no correlation between the two, but the conversation was had and the people concerned understood exactly what it was all about. And this is the collective consciousness of the cosmos that is downloading, bringing life and information and vibration and love and bliss and harmony into a conversation that is normal and expansive and enlightening, making people smile and having an understanding that everything is okay. It is elevating that blissful purpose to an important status where new conversations will be had, great conversations that will go along the line of what is the best thing that can happen right now? What if we can create the best universe ever? And again, a bit like any sort of conversation, some people will be lost in that thought. Others will be swept up in the joy and understanding that it is all possible with a whole new energy, a whole new vibration, therefore a whole new linguistic interpretation of moving forward. And to do this, it is being in that elevated state of being constantly, with certainty, without fear, with joy and harmony, with the thought of ever expanding. Some people expand quicker, some people expand a little slower, but it is all relative to the individual. And this is what we, as the board in Whitehawk, is bringing into the conversation, to the narrative, so that the information is dispensed and understood in a very succinct, simple and serene way, making it accessible to everybody who comes across it, who's involved in the conversation, and thereby ever expanding that love and guidance, and more importantly, the vibration, the pulsating vibe of just a word, a phrase, a conversation, and to move forward from there, to leapfrog mundaneness, ordinariness, into something more blissful. And you send that message into the universe so that it reverberates and it comes back to you tenfold, 100-fold, a millionfold. It all comes back to the conversation, the new conversation that you'll be having from now on in. And it's already happening at the moment. And it will be continuing, because that is a great space to be in. Tapping into that library, for want of a better word. It is endless. It has no ends. It has no beginning. But that information is constantly coming through and expanding. And with that information, humanness, humanity, yourselves, relax with the prospect of that everything is in divine order. Therefore, no stress. When there's no stress, there's more expansion. When there's more expansion, there's less stress. And it's this pulsating conversation we have with the universe, with the galactic board, with the cosmic corridors of consciousness that are just jam-packed with conversations, new words, new vibrations, new outcomes, and a whole new story for each and every one of you. The feeling, even from our perspective, is incredibly amazing, pulsating with light, shining like diamonds in the sky. Each one of those diamonds is a new conversation, ever expanding, lighting more, never fading, expanding, contracting a little, expanding more, removing doubt and uncertainty and fear and calamity and congestion.
When you talk about new conversations and new words, are you talking about new stories, the stories we have, or is this something else?
The stories we have, the stories we tell ourselves, using new words in that conversation rather than old words that exist in our narrative at the moment. They are the new story you tell yourself.
So when you talk about new words, what does that mean? We're going to make them up?
It is about words that go together. There will be new words that will come. The first part of the conversation is about using words that you already know, but in a different phraseology.
Can you give an example of that?
The ever-expanding universe of our mind will take us forward into a blissful state of being that will yield harmony, peacefulness, abundance. And when you string those words together, like I said before, some people will be lost because that is not real. But when you look at the unfolding of that narrative, there are aha moments that say, I want to be part of that action.
Okay, so I think what you're saying is that rather than us succumb to an old narrative or other people's narratives, we need to stand in our own.
Yes, completely. And if you need to resort to older conversations or narratives or words and phrases, you need to be aware of that and be conscious enough to have an enlightened conversation with yourself at the very least, and with like-minded people.
It's interesting that you're talking about this, because a couple of days ago I had a conversation with some of my kids, grown-up kids, and I could hear myself speaking that type of language that you were just talking about. And I was wondering if they even understood what I was saying. But of course we have brought them up with this language, but they're not used to being around it. Their friends don't speak like this.
They know the words, but is what those words vibrate at. So their state of being needs to be elevated, and it will be naturally if they're around you more often, having more conversations. They will grow from that. They know the words, but in the context that you put them and the frequency and the vibration,
I like this because in my mind, they're the words I use all the time, and they're an elevated frequency.
Yes.
And I don't want to come down to a different frequency.
No.
So what happens when you can't communicate with people then?
Are they the people you want to communicate with? It is about a conversation. It is holding yourself in a better vibration. Sometimes you need to use the words that the people you're communicating with, that they can understand, so they understand you. But always the default of yourself in this humanity is to have that raised vibration no matter what, so that you come away from any conversation elevated.
So we step into who we are, and then we hold that vibration no matter what others think or say or whatever.
Yes.
Or think that we're weird.
And ideally to have that elevated conversation, stringing together the old words in a new vibration with somebody who can communicate and reciprocate that conversation, that narrative. And it's great to impart that information on to loved ones. Your loved ones will have an understanding of the individual words and communication, but it is the intensity of the energy and vibration that will open the lock that may be restricting them at this particular time to fully embrace and understand the full context of that conversation.
Yes. I guess why I'm asking is because I don't want to lose my kids. I don't want them to think, oh, well, Mum's just a weirdo. That's not how real people are. And I probably shouldn't think that, because we had brought our kids up using these terms.
There are no weirdos. You will not be classed as a weirdo. You will have an understanding, and as their vibration lifts with frequent conversations, and that will change the receptivity of your words and conversations to them. And they will have those aha moments, the synchronicity of the world. The world is full of synchronicities, of pathways, of indicators, of registers, that everything is heading in the right direction. And if you can have just one conversation with somebody in an enlightened way, without too much interference with their vibration, you always want to lift their vibration and do it in a soft and easy way, so that it is kind to yourself, and you come away from that conversation feeling as if you've been uplifted as well by imparting that information, and the people you've had the conversation with, particular loved ones, that they've come away and had thoughts that there are different ways to do this, to make it easy, so that there's ease and flow in life. And this is the whole purpose, is to find that light that shines brightly ahead of them. It makes life a lot more purposeful, with ease and flow, less stress, more joy, happiness, harmony, blissfulness, love and guidance. Hold that divine space, and the greatest asset you will have with that is intention, having the right intention, rather than saying this is the way, because it is the way forward, but in a gentler, smooth-flowing, succinct way, where at the beginning, at the middle, in the end, and during the conversation, the greatest feeling the recipients will get is love.
We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you'd like to know more about the wisdom of Whitehawk, you can go to www.wisdomofwhitehawk.com. Thanks for joining us.